And happy Sunday. Welcome back to another Open Pagan Church. Hope everyone is doing well. Been doing a little chatting over in the chat area here. Looks like we got a couple of folks not feeling real well. Of course, it is that time of year where, yeah, at least here in north central Texas, it goes from 80 to 20 that quick. Then, of course, We've got uh, we've got people further up northwest. Wow, man, those guys are getting hammered. Last week they had wind chills of minus 50. Hell no, minus 50. Mm-mm. Nope, not me. I don't want nothing to do with it. Minus 50. Um, yeah, dude, we had 80 degrees here one day last week. Actually, it was 80 degrees for a couple of days, and it uh, went from 80 down. All right. So, what's our topic? Cool. Topic done. Church over. Bye. No. Um. Well, it just so happens our topic for today is the good fight. The good fight. Is there any such thing as a bad fight? Yeah, I've had a few. But the bad fight is giving up. Just saying to hell with it. The good fight is the one that we just keep on keeping on. And, yeah, like I say in the introduction text, um, we all get tired. We all get tired of fighting. Um, we all get to the point where we're just done. How do we keep going? How do you keep going? Um, how do you just keep on keeping on when you've rammed your head into that brick wall so many times that you just can't go any further, right? Well, all right. Dave says I want to experience living no matter. Yeah, well, yeah, there's that. Never give up. Yeah. So it's pretty much that. Um, I know that in a lot of faiths they tell you that they tell you their faith keeps them going. All right, I get it. I can see that. And there's nothing wrong with faith keeping you going. But I want to drop a little bee in your bonnet. Now, I have all the faith in the world in my deity and my deity structure, and the triad, the council, and spirit guides. Keep me going. But at the end of the day, who keeps you going? Well, sadly, the truth of the matter is, you don't you don't want to find yourself in a position where you're living for or through someone else. Now, I want to try to explain this before somebody jumps and gets all crazy like a cat on steroids. But science has proven that it's unhealthy for human beings to live through or live for someone else. Living with, um, having a better life because of. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the good fight means that we can sit back and we can look at ourselves in the mirror, and we have to tell ourselves in the mirror, you're worth it. You are worth fighting for. And eventually what that does is, and you might think I'm you might think I'm slightly tweaked. Well, some might think I'm slightly tweaked. Anyway, but there you go. But when you're thinking about the good fight, and it's a struggle to get out of bed every day. Hell, some days it's a struggle just to get out of the chair and go pee. At the end of the day, you got to do it for you. Now, it doesn't mean that open pagan church may not help you get out of bed on Sunday to come and tune in. Figured I'd throw that in there. It doesn't hurt that family and friends might come and drag your ass out of the house and go do something in spite of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that either. And there's nothing wrong with setting your alarm for a day that you have off. And you set your alarm and you kind of force yourself to get out of bed and you force yourself to do things that need to be done. What that does is it keeps that momentum going. I have experienced um, I have experienced firsthand what happens if you just give up, if you just don't. Say, for example, I've had my days and my moments where I just want to lay in bed and do nothing. So I'll take a day and do that. And then I find myself getting mad at myself because there were so many things I needed to get done that I didn't do. Sometimes I'll take a day and just veg, kicking back in my easy chair, my recliner, my feet propped up, watching TV all day, watching movies, old movies, new movies, movies I've been wanting to see. And like this morning when I got up, went and grabbed my clothes out of the closet. I really didn't pay any attention to what shirt I was grabbing. I just grabbed a shirt. And the end of the day, we all get tired of fighting. We just want to say to hell with it. But myself and you and everyone else, you have to find something worth living for you, worth fighting for you, worth fighting for yourself. Because when it all comes right down to it, you have to live for you. Now you can pull up and attach whatever reason you want to attach to it, such as I need to keep living for my kids. I need to keep living for my spouse. I need to keep living for my family. I need to keep living for these people that need me. I get it. I do. Been there, done that. But at the end of the day, I found that as I was looking at my mirror one day, brushing my hair, getting ready for go to work, I found myself pondering over something. And as you get older, you find yourself pondering over a whole lot of things that you would have never thought of 30 or so years ago. I like that. Dave says, I want to live because I simply like living. I get it. Well, my vape is playing hell with my green screen today, isn't it? Aha. I think I see the problem. Oh, be right back. Ha! I bet y'all thought I left. You couldn't get that lucky. Ooh, that's much better. My air conditioner was adjusted incorrectly, so I wasn't getting any air over here. Yes, live because you simply like living. Giving the good fight is a day to day thing, and fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, there's only so much that can be said about it by one person. So, what I'd like to see or witness, if you would, what do you do to keep up the good fight? What are some of the things you do, some of your thought processes to keep up the good fight? And while y'all are thinking about it, maybe posting some in the chat, I'll tell you what I pondered while standing looking in the mirror. I came to the realization and the acceptance, if you will, that the only thing that ever stays the same is everything changes. The only thing that always is a constant is everything changes. Everything is evolving. It's growing. It's birthing. It's living. It's dying. There are two guarantees in life. Only two. Taxes are not one of them, but there's only two: birth and death. Everything else is a crapshoot. Everything else is a sequence of decisions and thoughts and processes, cause and effect, momentum, right? So in the decisions and the causes and effects that we have, as we grow up and grow older, it's more down to the two unchangeable facts in life: birth and death. Well, obviously, if you're watching this, unless you're in the spirit world, lol, you have been birthed. The only other constant that you cannot change is when the light switch goes off. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm all about gloom and doom and, oh my God, it's going to be over one day. It's not about that at all. It's about waking up when you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, wow, wow, that wrinkle wasn't there yesterday. Or, well, maybe it was. Hmm, maybe I don't care. Maybe I earned that wrinkle. Maybe I earned that gray hair. Although, yes, I do periodically color my hair just because I like a change. Hadn't dyed it purple yet, though. I digress. But I thought as I looked in the mirror, there will come a day where I will stand and I will look at myself in a mirror and I will be the only one there. My parents would have passed on. My grandparents passed on many years ago. My daughter will have moved out and got on her own. My wife will either outlive me or not. That's to be said yet. I hope she does. And the family that I know presently will have changed, will have manifested. They will have evolved. The family that I know today will not be the same family, the same exact family that I might know 10 years from now. At the time this video is done, February 2019, I have a set block of people I consider family. Well, by the end of the day, February, 10 years from now, 2029, I'll be, holy hell, I'll be 67 years old. And hopefully still doing Open Pagan Church. If I can come up with topics. But I came up with a realization. And that is, when everyone else is gone, when everyone else has gone on and done their thing, I've got to be okay with me. I've got to be okay doing the good fight for myself. And it was really interesting because we talk about faith and religion and gods and goddesses, counsel and spirit guides and what have you. And I found it rather aggravating and yet enlightening at the same time. When I came to that realization in the back of my head where my spirit guides reside and my counsel are at, I heard this. I'm like, really? It's 4:15 in the morning and you asses are going to sit back and go, because I come to a realization? I had an epiphany? Thanks, guys. Alright? Camille posted one of the things she does. Cynthia, drum. I like what Dave said. I keep living because I simply like living. Yes. You know, I uh, I was counseling someone on suicide. Oh God, must have been 8 or 10 years ago now. So it was a long time ago, or was it longer? Anyway, they asked me a question, and I said, "But don't you just ever want to end it?" I thought about it for a second, and I thought, it's not ending it. I've thought about. Yes, I wish there were days where my teeth and gums didn't hurt like they do. Days where my knees and hip don't hurt like they do. Days that I wish I could work and continue on like I used to. But I told them, I said, it's not ending it that I've thought of. I've thought of ways to make it better. And I have no intention of ever ending the good fight. Not because I'm a fighter. I am, but that's beside the point. I just keep on keeping on because it's all I know. Because I know that I'm too damn nosy. I want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. Well, of course, we all know tomorrow doesn't get here yet because by the time tomorrow gets here, it's already yesterday. Or by the time tomorrow gets here, it's already today. So tomorrow, we don't have to worry about yet. Now, I do come up with plans and things I'd like to do, of course. But you can tell where that momentum comes into play, where those thought processes have to come in and you have to make the decision, do I want to, is it worth it to me? The good fight is a never ending, um, I hesitate to say struggle uphill, but the good fight is a never ending movement of momentum, and you have to have that belief in yourself that you can do that. And I've always said and learned for myself that it is really hard to have faith in any deity anywhere if you have absolutely no faith in yourself. And that has been proven to me more times than not. So, how do we find the fight? How do we, what, once the fight is all gone, how do we find it? Excuse me, sorry. Sorry about that. How do we find if the fight is all gone and it's we've just done. I mean, well, it depends on done with what. Are you done with a particular relationship? Are you done with a particular job? Are you just done with a particular way of life or lifestyle? Or, hell, I don't know. Maybe sometimes you might be done with the paper towel and throw it away. Get rid of it. Walk away from it. Okay? Well, we do that when we clean up our house. We're done fighting with the mess, I hope. So we start the cleanup process. Um, H-O-D Badger, welcome. But who is Phil? Hmm? Phil invited somebody into Open Pagan Church. I guess they're a little confused as to what they were invited to. Oh well, you're welcome. You don't have to be pagan to sit in. Um, Respectful, that's all we ask. But we are Open Pagan Church. We're here every Sunday, and all are welcome. I'm Phil. Oh, hello, Phil. All right. Well, you all are welcome. Um, what in Satan's throne? If you're Satanist, I have stood in some satanic circles. Rather enjoyed the energy. It was kind of cool. When we say open, we're open. And the only thing we like is respect. But anyway, our topic for today is the good fight. Just keeping it going. And I think at the end of the day, the good fight is more of a human thing than it is a pagan or Christian or satanic or it's a human thing. We get tired. Humans just flat ass give up. There's just nothing else we can do. But it's that believing in yourself and having faith in yourself just to keep going. And it's the craziest thing that environmental programming can be the most dangerous thing there is ever. And it's been that way since the beginning of societies. I'm a bit of a historian. You can research societies all the way back to Mesopotamia. And some of the worst atrocities that ever happened to human beings were committed at the hands of their environmental families at the time. And no wonder these people today, people back then, whatever, they just give up, right? So, how do we keep from giving up? Well, if your environmental issues, if your problems are environmental, and you're just wanting to give up, you're done fighting or whatever, you have to start that momentum somewhere. And I'm not a firm believer in you have to think positive about a particular situation. No, because that's hard to do. I'm a realist, right? I am a flat ass realist. And if you get beat down enough by society, you get beat down enough by your local environmental family or whatever they may be, it you kind of fall into the beaten dog syndrome, if you will. There are two types that I've seen of beaten dog syndrome. One, a dog will just cow and eventually die. Two, a dog will bite back, and they'll cow down. They'll get real quiet, and they'll just bow their heads. And then when the time is right, your ass is meat. Humans are much the same way. Sadly, there are a number of women that are in prison because they finally stood up to their abusive husbands and said no more. Personally, I don't think those women should be in prison. I think they should get a hug, a pat on the back, and say good on you, because the world is less one abusive man. That's just my own opinion. And well, you know what they say about opinions. But when you've had all you can stand, it's like an employee at a job. I've been either manager or supervisor, one kind or another, for just over 30 years. And the quickest thing you learn is always respect. Always respect your people. If you beat your people down, you stay on top of them, you micromanage them, you keep a thumb on top of them. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why did you say this? Why didn't you do it that way? They eventually get beat down with the micromanaging and they say to hell with it. They don't do anything, right? They just kick back, they don't do squat. All they do is just sit there and um, do nothing. And eventually they'll quit. They'll find other jobs. They'll quit. And then you got to train somebody else. Well, the title of today's topic is The Good Fight. How do you keep it up? How do you keep going? Well, the answer to that is as different as me and you. The answer to that is as different as our belief systems, our religions, our philosophies, our ideas, our thoughts, our vape. Vape alert. So, what happens when a human being gives up? What happens when a human being just can't go anymore? Well, I hate to tell you, and you probably already know it, there's no magic answer. There's not. I'm the last one in the world to tell you God will help you through. Oh, I know that as pagan and as a chosen path of shamanism, my gods and goddesses, council and spirit guides have absolutely no problem pounding me on the head with a 2x4 and going, dude, wake up. What the hell's wrong with you? Have you lost your mind? Probably. I don't do that with people, really. There are times where I'll look at my students and go, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you, what are you, what, what did you do? But at the same time, I try to find a lighter side to what's going on. Yes, there are days I get down on myself and decide what the hell. But at the end of the day, who, and this is probably a rhetorical question, but I'll throw it out there anyway, who is looking back at you in the mirror? Now, if you're schizophrenic or multiple personalities, you could probably come up with anybody that may be looking back at you in the mirror. I've known some multiple personality individuals that when they look at the mirror, they're like, well, myself is looking at the mirror, but somebody else in the back of my head is looking back at me going, you're crazy. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. Um, the you that looks back at yourself in the mirror on days when you just think you can't do anymore. Well, depending on your own responsibility and depending on what you have going on for you and depending on 1,000 other variables, depends on how you keep up the good fight. It comes down to you. It doesn't come down to you doing it because of. It comes down to you doing it for you because you're worth it. Dave. Bloody Mary looks back at Dave in the mirror. Yep, I remember those days too. LOL. Nah, anyway. So the good fight really never ends until we say, I say, you say, until you say it's done. Now, does that mean, and listen to this real close, because this is one of the points I wanted to make in today's topic. No matter how much you fight, how much you put forward, how much you work on whatever it is you're working on, you could walk out your door and get hit and life be taken from you that quick. You can be sitting in your house and a car drive through your living room. Hear stories about that all the time. And done that quick. But it doesn't mean give up. I've met people through the years that somewhere they got it in their head, okay? Somewhere they got it in their head, well, it's all going to end anyway, why bother? Why bother fighting? Why bother going for it? It's all going to end anyway, why bother? Why not? I mean, I'm worth it. Somebody may think I'm being self centered for saying I'm worth it. Well, if thinking I'm worth it is self centered, then so be it. I don't consider myself self centered, but there are some things, by God, I'm just damn well worth it. And I think that each of you are worth it as well. So I think what it all boils down to is like Dave said, we need to fight because we're learning. Yes. Human beings, I believe, were designed to grow, to think, to process, to continue always growing, to continue always moving forward, um, thinking about what needs to be done. Excuse me. I believe that I believe that people should continue onward. Yes, looking at that self-worth. Yes, I'm replying to a chat. Um, but I believe that everybody is worth it. I believe that everyone should say, I'm worth it on a daily basis. Now, I know that there's no way I can go the entire hour on this topic, and that's fine. I had no intention of it. But I also know that once a year or so, I like to do one of the good fights. One of the ones that says, reminds people, don't give up. Keep on keeping on. Yes, life is part of the human journey. It's a part of what it is. So I think, well, life is about balance. Looking forward, self worth, looking outward, being humble, and helping others. Absolutely. So keeping up the good fight doesn't end, but it begins with accepting yourself in the mirror. I'm not saying stand there and look at yourself all damn day in the mirror. Come on, you'd never get nothing done. And I'm not saying be one of these individuals where you look at yourself in the mirror and go, well, aren't I pretty? Hmm? Aren't I pretty? Hmm? No. I'm saying look at yourself and say, I'm worth it. I'm worth fighting for. I'm worth getting up in the morning and going forward. For those of us that live with different types of pain, um, I don't live with chronic pain by any means. I'm glad for that. But I do have my own pains that I live with. I know several people in the chat this morning that live with chronic 24/7 pain. They have to force themselves to get out of bed and do what needs to be done. Keeping up the good fight is taking a day periodically just to give in and say, whew, fine, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to take the day, I'm going to kick back, and the world can have it. I don't, however, recommend taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days to do it, because here's what happens. If you take 2 days, it's very easy for 2 days to turn into 3. And before you know it, you just give up. And you can take 3 days can turn into a week. And before you know it, you just give up. But keeping up the good fight is reminding yourself on a daily basis, I can do this. I can be who I need to be and do what I need to do to be okay with who I am. So, we've said about all we can for the good fight. So I'm going to bugger out. I'm going to give you back the rest of your Sunday, and I want to thank you for watching. And those of you new folk that come in, go back and watch some of our other videos. I'd love to see your ideas and thoughts. Yeah, have a good conversation going on. What do you think? So remember this. You have to stay in the good fight for you. Not for me, not for mom, not for dad, brother, sister, spouse, whatever. You have to stay in the good fight for you. You have to keep on keeping on because it's who you are. So once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching Open Pagan Church. And if you're watching it on our archives over on YouTube or whatever, click like, click subscribe, click don't like, I don't care, but tell us why. Thanks again for watching, folks. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time right here on Open Pagan Church.